Okay, so welcome everyone to the Nottingham Buddhist Centre online drop-in meditation, Tuesday, 27th of October. Welcome, especially if you're new. And tonight we're going to do the mindfulness of breathing. If you're regular, you'll know that we do have a playlist on our channel, which is designed to help you with just to get to grips with the basics of the two meditations we do here, the Metta Bhavana and the mindfulness of breathing. And they help you with things like posture and how to set up a space, things like body scans and things like that, all of the stuff that are kind of there to sort of support you, establishing your sort of practice really. Do check that playlist out. There's also quite a lot of other videos on there that you may find pretty useful, lots of talks, all that sort of stuff. I won't say too much other than my name is Richard and I live here at the Buddhist Centre and have done for about 5 years and making various contributions over the years, and at the moment I'm doing some of this with a small team of other people. I'll just say a quick word about generosity, dana. As you may know, that we run here entirely on donations, and what that means is that we don't really charge for anything that we do as such. We just ask people to give whatever they can, but also it's important to take what you need as well. So that's our act of generosity. But as with many other organisations, we are struggling a little bit in the current climate, and we're more appreciative than ever of any donation that you can make. There is a donate button down in the description of this video, and you can also go to our website and do the same. And it helps us a lot if you gift aid that. Gift aid is just a scheme the government have created to help small charities who have a lot of small cash donations like we do. And it just allows us to get some money back on that scheme, and it's worth a fair bit of money to us over the years. I mean, not a great deal in overall terms, but for a small charity like us, it makes a big difference. So if you are a UK taxpayer and you do want to do it, it does help us a lot if you can fill in one of those forms, and then you just make your donation as you normally would. Tonight we're going to do the mindfulness of breathing. A very sort of foundational meditation, not just in the Buddhist world, across all sorts of traditions. In fact, people were doing this meditation. The Buddha learned it from other people. So it's got a long sort of, probably a fairly mysterious history, really. Nobody really knows who invented it, I guess. But it's a very foundational practice within Buddhism, is to bring more awareness to your experience. So I think what that sort of implies is that a lot of the time we're not very aware of our experience, which is probably true to varying degrees throughout the day, from individual to individual. We will have a lot of variation in our experience. And the point is that there's something quite radical and magical about awareness. When we're more aware of our responses, or more aware of what's going on in our mind, basically, we have much more sort of wide range of choices around all of that stuff when that happens. I sort of think of it in terms of switching your mind into colour after it's been in black and white for a while. Suddenly, if you bring more awareness, the palette of reality is much more detailed and vivid. So there's something really interesting about that, I think. And the point of doing the mindfulness of breathing is to make your mind more characterized by awareness. And that's quite a long sort of journey in some ways, I guess. It's important to note that normally when we're out and about doing things, quite a lot of that happens without very much awareness. In fact, even quite complex procedures like driving, most of driving is done in a kind of unconscious way. You've trained yourself to be able to do it, so you don't have to think about it. It's a little bit like if someone said to you, describe in detail to me how you tie your shoelaces, you'd have to think about that, I think. But you're doing it anyway, you just do it automatically. So there's two different kinds of thinking really in some ways. One is that that's characterized by continuity and depth and awareness. And then there's another kind of thinking which is often called papancha. And what papancha means is to spread out. His literal meaning is to spread out. And what that means is that you kind of go from one thought to another, or one emotional state to another, or whatever it is, without really being that aware of what's happening. It's usually during meditation you notice a bit later that that's happened. So it's quite an interesting process that our minds are sort of doing this sort of sub-processing, I suppose you could call it, if you're in a technological sort of image. And I think we probably do need to do that at some point. But the point is that the awareness kind of intensifies our experience of life. Papancha keeps us on a kind of almost like a working level that's a little bit mundane. So I won't go too much into the mechanics of the meditation. Like I say, we have these playlists on our channel now, and they can take you through that. But I will give you a sort of very brief introduction just to the start of each stage, just because you may not have watched that video and it'd be helpful. I don't want you to get lost or feel like you don't know what's happening. So that's all I can really say about that for now, I think. The only other thing really is about we use the breath as a way of intensifying our experience. We use it as an aid to presence. It's sometimes described as an aid to presence. And it's useful, I think, sometimes to look at what intensifies our experience of awareness, what happens there. Some things definitely don't intensify our experience of awareness. A lot of internet surfing, for example, it requires our attention, but that's maybe something slightly different. So it doesn't necessarily encourage us to go more deeply into experience. It encourages us to hop from one thing to another. So there's a contrast there between sort of the highly sensory world of, say, the internet or TV or a pub or something like that, and then the much more calm, simple experience of meditation. There's quite a high contrast there. So it's useful to just look at what happens to your mind when you do go into meditation. Do things start to intensify and go deeper into your mind than they do when you're kind of responding to sensory input? It's my experience that happens anyway. So just use the breath as a way to go deeper into your experience. That's what I can say about that, really, I think, for now. So we may as well get started. There's 4 stages in this meditation, and we'll probably do maybe 6 or 7 minutes on each stage. But I'll give you some verbal prompts, particularly at the start of the meditation, just to help you engage. But I'll get quieter as the meditation goes on, just because some people like a lot of input and some people like me to just be quiet. So if you're one of those people, you'll get that closer to the end of the meditation. So I'm just trying to keep everyone happy there, really. So if you're in a good posture, again, we've got a video about posture. I guess you're at home, you've got what you need, and maybe you already know what works for you, so just go with that. I'll just say one thing. If you are already in pain in some way and it's to do with your posture, it's pain that's not normally around for you, make a change before you start to meditate. Normally that's because you're trying to battle to stay upright, or there's some tension creeping in, you're having to use strength to stay in a posture. Those kind of things are not good, because they'll distract you. You'll end up feeling quite unrelaxed, and possibly your pain will get a bit worse as well. So do try and address that, maybe support your body a bit more. And then we can get started. So I'll start with a quick body scan, and that will just take us into our experience a bit more, give us a bit of an introduction to what we're going to do. So if you're feeling ready, just gently close your eyes. And just notice that contrast even between having your eyes open and your eyes closed. Something happens there. Just take the time to notice the quality of what's happened. The main channel of sensory input has been closed. And maybe that's just a very different experience from what you've had throughout the day. And just start to tune into the breath as a physical experience. Don't worry about labeling it or identifying things. Just look at the basic experience, the bodily sensation. And you may notice that your breath has a certain quality. It may already be quite deep, quite regular, quite smooth. Or where you're starting from, maybe it's quite shallow, it's a bit ragged, a bit unpredictable, doesn't have a particular rhythm. Don't worry about that for now. Just noticing any changes throughout the meditation in the breath. It's very important. So now we can focus on our whole torso area. A very busy part of the body in relation to the breath. Notice how your rib cage expands, your diaphragm expands and contracts and relaxes. But also some more subtle sensations, maybe some sort of sensation in your internal organs. And just noticing how your upper chest, around your collarbones, around your shoulders, and also the back of your rib cage, around the spine, how this part of the body is also expanding and contracting. And now we can bring awareness down into our sitting bones, around our pelvis, just noticing how the breath changes this part of the body. Again, a much more subtle change. And tracing awareness down our legs, bringing a sense of softness and relaxation to the thigh muscles. Just allowing them to hold their shape, supporting you. Now down into our shins, around our calves. Again, trying to develop a sense of softness, relaxation. Now down into our feet. Very sensitive part of the body. You may notice some tingling energy there in the muscles and the skin. You may be able to feel your pulse a little bit somewhere as well. Now we can come back up the body and rejoin the body at the base of the spine, tracing awareness of the length of the spine, feeling how it brings form and structure to our posture. Spreading out awareness across our shoulders, shoulder blades, into our shoulder muscles. Sometimes we can store tension in this part of the body. So if you do find some tension there, as you next breathe out, just try to imagine that tension just dissipating along with the out breath. Now tracing awareness up our neck, just trying to get a sense of where the neck joins the skull. It's actually very close to the center of the head. And just try to get a sense of the bones in your head and face. And just contrast that sense with all of the sensation in this very complex part of the body. A lot of sensation across the scalp, around the face, around the ears. Just exploring that sensation and complexity. Tracing awareness around our eyes. Just allowing the lids to rest gently closed. A sense of effortlessness. Now down around the mouth and jawline. Again, this can be an area where we store tension. Just trying to bring a sense of softness and relaxation to this part of the body. If you already feel yourself becoming more relaxed, just try to imagine the stresses, the attention of the day. Just sense that fading away. Just try to get a sense of what it's like to have those tensions and stresses fading away. So now in the first stage of the meditation, we breathe in, breathe out, and we count 1. Breathe in, breathe out, count 2, until we get to 10, or until we lose the count. And when that happens, we just come back to the start of the count, re-engage with the breath. The count is just there to help you engage with the breath and the practice. And don't worry that you may not get very far with the count. That doesn't matter at all. You're simply using it to bring awareness to your breathing. You find yourself becoming distracted. Maybe your mind is in quite a high energy state. Just tune back into your bodily sensations, following the breath as it makes its way through the body, making subtle adjustments, having a certain quality. You find yourself enjoying the contrast between meditating and the rest of your day. Just use that sense of enjoyment to go deeper into your experience. So now in the second stage, we change the count slightly. We count 1, breathe in, breathe out. Count 2, breathe in, breathe out. Again until we get to 10, or until we lose the count, and then we simply restart. And what this is doing is just establishing your awareness before the breath appears. Using the count to establish this field of awareness in which the breath can appear. Taking a moment to scan through your body for any tension that may have appeared. Just allowing yourself to make no effort. Just giving yourself permission not to strive. Just allowing awareness to emerge in your experience. If you find yourself becoming distracted, just restart the count. Look for your breath in awareness. Focus back on your bodily sensations. So now in the third stage, we drop the counting and just tune in to the entirety of the breath. From where we first experience the start of an in-breath, all the way through to the very end of an out-breath. Just noticing all the different changes in experience, in our sensations. As they play out and we focus on this experience of breathing. Focusing on the small changes that occur as we breathe. Maybe changes in posture, how we feel emotionally, how we feel internally in our body. All of these things can be changed by the breath. Now may be a good time to just tune in with how you're feeling compared to how you were when you first started this meditation. What's changed for you? Has the quality of the breath changed? Does your body feel different? Are you more settled in your mind? So now in the fourth stage, we start to focus in on where we first feel the breath. For a lot of people, this is around the nostrils or the upper lip. It may also be when you feel your chest move or your diaphragm expand. It's slightly different for everyone. But what we're doing here is we're just focusing on an even more simple experience of the breath. And in this stage, it can be easy to make too much effort. You start to really zero in on this sensation of the breath. But instead, just allow yourself to completely relax all sense of making an effort. Just allow your awareness to rest on the breath, emerging naturally within experience. And now as we approach the end of the meditation, just take some time to expand your awareness a little bit from this single point of the breath out again to your whole body. Just gaining a sense of the room you're in. Letting any sounds just appear. And again, just taking some time to notice any sense of contrast. What effect has this meditation had on you? Do you feel more relaxed? Is there a sense of difference between the rest of your day and this meditation? And then when you feel ready, just gently open your eyes and bring the meditation to a close. Okay, so thanks very much for joining us this evening. I hope you found that to be a productive session, useful for you. And just to try to remember that your meditation definitely has an effect, even if sometimes you meditate and you think, oh, I don't know what's happening here, or there's not much happening. Actually, throughout your day, sometimes it's good to just check in and think, oh, actually, that's something happened there that may be a result of my meditation. So it's good to join up what happens on the meditation cushion and what happens out in the rest of your day. So again, thanks for joining us. If you do feel that you can make a donation, we're very, very grateful for that. Like I said earlier, times are even tougher than they have been recently, and we're very, very grateful for anything that you can give us, really. So our next session will probably be Friday at lunchtime. I'm not sure who's leading at the moment. It'll be Karen Avantra or Rachel. And next week, Paul should be back. So Paul will be doing, I believe, the Metta Bhavana. So I hope you have a great week, and I shall see you soon. And take care. Bye-bye.